Hi everyone, this is Sandy Reese with Stampacrew.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thanks for joining me for another live video tutorial. Today we're going to use the Happy Place stamp set. We're going to do a birthday card, or you could do retirement, whatever you want to do. Before we get started, just to remind you our bonus days are still going on. So with every $50 order, you'll get a $5 coupon to use next month. And then our new product of the month, we have a stamp set. And so when you spend $75, you have the opportunity to buy that extra stamp set for $5 only. So if you're close to that $75 threshold, think about if there's something else you need to stock up on. So you have the opportunity to get that stamp set. Okay, so the Happy Place stamp set was in our September to December mini catalog. I tend to call it the holiday catalog. It's not a holiday set though, so they have kept it over. It's not on the discontinued list and had been sold out for a while, and now it's back in stock. But this is one of the first stamp sets I bought because I thought it was just super cute. We don't often get retirement sentiments, and then I thought it would be great for scrapbooking too. But we're going to make a card that we made in class in December using this. And I used that bokeh paper from the annual catalog. And so we had several different of the colors. And this one we're using is Fresh Freesia. And we had done daffodil or balmy blue, just several different colors. So what I'm going to do, instead of just laying this directly on the freesia, because it's the same color, we're going to layer this on a thin mat of basic black, because it really makes the paper and the colors pop when you put something like this behind it. So see, you can see how much that stands out now with that dark background. You could also try white, but it won't be as dramatic. So I really like doing a thin layer of black if we're just going kind of monochromatic. Okay, now when I cut this down, I had an extra piece of designer paper, and that's what I'm going to put that on my envelope so we can have a pretty envelope to go. All right, this card does not take many supplies: black, white, and Fresh Freesia. And so on this white piece, I'm going to stamp this happy sentiment. So it was a little confusing for some of my stampers last month, but it stamps all that image in there. I'm gonna make sure I get it well inked so it looks nice. And then I've cut this just the right size, and I'm gonna center it, hopefully, and just give it a good press. Let that ink soak in for a sec. And there is our sentiment. All right, so it stamps just like that. Now I am going to take my blends markers, and we're gonna do a little bit of coloring. So I'm gonna start out with a little light crumb cake. I'm just gonna use these smaller tips because we're not coloring a big area. I'm going all the way across just within the letters with my crumb cake. This is kind of like a little sand area. So that's a scene. And then there's also a little more sand up here. So I'm going to color a little bit. That one's just water. I got a little bit of sand that those palm trees are on. Okay, and then for the water, I'm using this darker, this is light Azure Afternoon. So this is going to cover all my water. I'm trying to stay within the lines. I'm not a super good colorer, so I'm trying to be very careful. My hand gets like crazy, and then I can't stay in the lines. So it helps me to outline a little bit. I'm going to make sure I don't get in the middle of that A. See, I've already gone out just a little bit. I don't think my hands are quite steady enough. Okay, let's do the P. If I need to go back in and fill in a little bit, I can. While I'm coloring, we're expecting some winter weather this weekend. So I know most of the rest of you are as well. So we have kids all through the area of impact. So we've been just kind of messing around, making sure everybody is prepared for winter weather. Okay, now we're gonna do a sky. So I want to do a little bit of a sunrise or sunset. I don't know. I'm going to start out with some fresh freesia, and that's going to be kind of about a third of our sky. So I'm just going to go up about a third of the way on our sky. I'm not going to worry about the clouds. That's too much to think about. I'm just going to go and color about a third of the sky. The clouds are reflecting my fresh freesia. That's what's happening. Okay. Now the next third, I'm going to use light Daffodil Delight. If you want to blend a little bit in between, you can. Still make sure you stay out of the center of your letters. Okay. Going almost to the top of that center there. All right, and then last, well, let's get our lid back on. Last is, I think this is light balmy blue. I'm just using the lighter shades of our blends today. So if you like coloring, this is a really good card. It's kind of relaxing. I don't even mind it too much because the areas are small. And not even most of the color, a lot of the color doesn't even show all the way through because it's got, you know, a lot of pattern on there as well. A lot of the image. All right, so we're going to pop this or glue this to a thin layer of black to help it pop a little bit. Well, let's see if we can scooch that up just a hair. Okay, this is where we're going to pop this up with a couple dimensionals. I had a big chunk left on that one sheet, so I just used that for the side. And we're going to, I'm going to put this at an angle. Isn't that cute? And then I'm going to stamp birthday. We're going to do this as a birthday stamp, and we're going to emboss this with white embossing powder. Use our embossing buddy on there. Some Versamark ink, and trying to do this without getting my whole head in the way. Get that centered on that strip. I cut it just big enough to fit on there. Well, if I can get my tub open. It flipped over on me. Well, that's why I couldn't see it. I'm like, what's wrong with this? Okay. I like to put my embossing powder in a tub. It makes it a little bit easier to put the powder on, not waste any. Okay, then we're going to heat this up. Always takes a minute when you start out with a cold heat tool. And then it goes pretty quick after that. All right, I think that's good. We're going to pop this up as well. All right, and this one I'm going to put straight across, but overlapping just a hair, just like that. And then for my gems, I'm using a holographic resin dots. These are online exclusive, but because they kind of pick up some of the different colors that you're using. You could do, they're a slightly green tinge, but they also look kind of yellow. And then you could also use an iridescent either way. But isn't that cute? And then for the inside, I'll just put, you know, something. This set doesn't really have an inside. You could do for you or whatever you want to do inside, but you can use another stamp set. So isn't that cute? I hope you guys enjoyed today's card. Stay warm. Make sure to click subscribe if you haven't, so you don't miss out on future videos. Remember, every $50 order that you place with me, you're going to get a kit of Vetments card projects for free. So make sure to get those orders in. Don't count on UPS, you know, delivering this week if you live in our area. And I see my goofy camera hold has gone off the rails here a bit, but yeah, so stay warm, stay safe, and we will see you next time. All right, bye everyone.